Welcome to Bible Bites. I'm Pastor Dan, and we're reading through the Bible one small bite at a time. You can see by the title of the section we are reading today, Jesus teaching, the Golden Rule. So you probably already know what part of this teaching is about. But that's okay. Let's dive in. The second part of it you may be a little bit less familiar with. So we're in Matthew 7, starting with verse 12. So whatever you wish that others would do to you, do also to them, for this is the law and the prophets. If only this were so easy to carry through with, right? So many of us know this rule, but we don't really live by it. Jesus is telling us that, hey, how you want to be treated, also how you want others to respond to you, what you want them to do to you, do to them, right? Do to them. So that really helps be a guide for how God wants us to represent Him, how God wants us to live. And it actually sums up, Jesus says, for this is the law and prophets. It sums up the law and the prophets. So all the things that God has said, teaching us how to live and how to respond well, it's all summed up by this golden rule. It's kind of the rule of love. Well, the second part may be less familiar. Enter by the narrow gate. What is the narrow gate? What is Jesus talking about? The narrow gate is Jesus Christ Himself. It is the way that Jesus has opened through His death and resurrection, the way that He's opened for us to come to God, to be reconciled to God, to be made whole, to receive life. If we don't go through this narrow gate, if we don't enter through Christ, then we are on a path of death. But through this gate is the path of life. And Jesus makes this more poignant here. He says, for the gate is wide. The gate is wide, and the way is easy that leads to destruction. So he tells us, enter through the narrow gate, because we know that the other gate is wide. It's easy to go down, but its end is destruction. It's death. And those who enter by it are many. So Jesus is saying many will enter that gate. They will go down to the path of destruction. That is how they want to live. But the narrow gate, the gate of Jesus Christ, the way that He is open to all through His death and resurrection, this gate is narrow, and the way is hard that leads to life, and those who find it are few. Well, what does Jesus mean by I'm sorry, didn't mean to move that, but the way is hard. What does that mean? Well, it doesn't mean that it's hard because we have to earn it. It means that it's hard because it's the path less traveled. It's the path that is not popular. The world will not love those who enter the narrow gate. It is a path that may have persecutions attached to it. It's a path that means denying ourselves. It's a path meaning we have to take up our own cross. And just as Jesus did, we call others to come to Yahweh, to take the narrow path. And again, people don't want to be told to go down the narrow path because they want the path of destruction. I don't know, maybe that helps you to understand that section of what we read. I love the teaching of Jesus. Hopefully you're enjoying this. And we will pick up in verse 15 next week, as you can see, talking about a tree and its fruit, good and bad fruit. All right, catch you in our next video.